potty training is essential to any dog breed. Whether it's an indoor pet or an outdoor pet, you want to make sure that right from the beginning, it knows where to poo and pee and where not to poo and pee. So that's one of the fundamental reasons why you need to control its movement and create structure for it right from day one. So as I said, in the mornings, afternoons, and evenings, you let your pup out to poo, pee, and all that. Sometimes you might be late and realize it's already pooed and peed in its crate, and that's just fine. You still go ahead with the procedure and get it to do it outside as well. The more you're able to get it to do it outside where it's supposed to, eventually it's going to understand to do it there. And sometimes if it feels it wants to go and it's not time yet in the morning, it will just hold on because it knows eventually you're going to lead it there and it's going to get to poo and pee. So for an indoor pet, I usually recommend going with an indoor AstroTurf mat, just like what you have in the screen. So you get one of these, it's a doormat size, and you place it somewhere in your living space that's accessible to your dog. You don't want to place it somewhere that's going to be too difficult for your dog to find. You want to place it somewhere that's going to be very easy for your dog to find. And so when you let it out each morning, the first thing you do is put it on its leash, which is why you need to introduce the leash, and then walk it to the mat and just wait for it to pee or poo. Once it's peed and pooed, then you can let it run freely and do its own thing. In the afternoons, you repeat the same. In the evenings, you repeat the same. And eventually, it's going to get used to pooing and peeing at that spot and on that specific mat. If it is an outdoor pet, you want to find an area outside your house that is suitable for them to pee and poo, and at the same time different from the surface of the areas where you don't want them to pee or poo. So for example, if you have a tiled compound, then the area where you would expect your dog to pee and poo cannot be tiled. It should preferably be either a lawn or a sandy area. If you have beautiful lawns where you don't want them to pee or poo, it's going to be a challenge because dogs are naturally prone to pee and poo on lawns. And so I usually recommend to people to just teach them to poo and pee on the lawn and get into the habit of cleaning up their litter from the lawns, which is usually much easier. But if your lawns are in areas in your house where you feel are so open and so easily accessible by visitors, and you don't want your dogs to get used to pooing and peeing in those spaces in case you are not available to clean up after them, then you need to create a big enough sandy area in your backyard, in a portion of your house that cannot be seen by visitors, but at the same time, a portion that's large enough for them to get a sense that, okay, this is the area where we poo or pee, period. We can't poo on the lawn, we can't poo on the tiles, we always have to come to the sand and poo. So you need to get that area demarcated and you need to fill it with sand, and you need to take them there in the mornings, afternoons, and evenings on their leashes to poo and pee before you allow them to run free. I'm going to make separate videos on how to potty train your dogs indoors and outdoors, but then these are the basics that you need to understand. And once you have this locked, you're not going to have much of a problem with your dog. It's going to grow up understanding structure. It's going to grow up understanding your routine, and it's going to grow up to live a life that conforms to your routine and complements it. So it's going to be a plus for you rather than a burden. A dog that's going to be a burden is a dog that doesn't understand your routine or what time it's supposed to do what and does it anytime it wants, and then begins to interfere with your time because you have to break out of routine to correct all of these mistakes. No, that's not the kind of dog you want to raise. You want to raise a dog that understands what your routine is and that has a routine that is similar to yours and complements yours to make your life easy in order for you to make your dog's life easy.